everyone, welcome to another video. I want to talk about something that is very personal actually. Is it personal? It's kind of embarrassing, but I suppose it affects a lot of people. And it's this before and after picture of me. I want to get you to focus on the jowl area here because you might be forgiven for thinking that I've had a facelift or done something really dramatic. And I want to talk about a treatment I've been doing for the last 7 weeks now. I feel as though it's actually shocked me because I didn't think I was going to see these types of results. And the results are getting better the more and more I use the device. So I'm going to tell you about that. I'm going to explain why in this picture and the after picture my skin is so red, because that's not good. And I also want to share with you the skin creams and treatments I've been using that have also given these results. Okay, so this is it. This is the culprit. This is what's done it. This is a radio frequency device that you can use at home. It's non-invasive. Radio frequency is something you typically go in clinic for. I had a course of radio frequency treatments back in 2019, and I know it works. Radio frequency, the waves that go into the dermis from the radio frequency device are converted into heat, a gentle heat, and that heat basically generates collagen and elastin. And it's those two things together, but particularly the elastin, that create a tightening effect. And that's what I have seen. So they sent me this, just to be really, really straight up from the start. CurrentBody sent me this, but I think that with these before and afters, and I'm only halfway through the treatment, I'm not even at the end of the treatment, and the results are amazing. I think that they speak for themselves, and I can't lie about them. They are what they are. So this device, the way it works, they said to me, can you try it? They said 89% of people that have tried this have seen a really good result. And it's non-invasive, as I've said. It heats the dermis of the skin to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 43 degrees centigrade. So it feels like going into a sauna. It feels like a hot stone massage. You use the conductive gel that comes with it. You can buy replacements of this if you run out, although there's like, how much is in this? 100 ml, and you don't need much for each treatment, so it's going to last you a long time. But this is the radio frequency gel. You can use this device on pretty much most areas of your face. These are the areas that you can target. So forehead, crow's feet, neck, jawline, cheeks. I would highly recommend when you get the device or before you buy it that you do your research, look into radio frequency, make sure it's right for you, but also make sure that you do your research because there are certain things to consider, such as if you are pregnant, I don't think you can use this, I think I read that, but also things like if you have filler or Botox. You can use this, but you have to avoid the areas that you've had those treatments, because what this does, it basically stimulates your body, and I guess the best word for it is digest. It would process and digest the filler and the Botox more quickly, which you probably wouldn't want. I have Botox in my forehead and around my eyes, so I'm avoiding those areas, but everything else I'm going for. So I'm using this device, and I get to week 3. You use it once a week, 5 minutes per area. So I take a bit of, you can't do it with any skincare on, any makeup, you've got to wash your face. This image here of me using the product, this is when I was still using the red light mask, so I didn't have any redness. My after picture here, however, I hadn't been using this mask for like a month and my redness has all come back really, really badly. So I need to get back onto using that mask again. I stopped using it because I got lazy pretty much. But what you do is you apply some of this gel, you just apply it in like a small area to wherever you're working on. And your device looks like this. So it's got a little stand on it so you can prop it up. You take this off, and there are 4 prongs on the bottom. They are blunt prongs, and they are what deliver the radio frequency. When you're using this correctly, there are 2, see that horseshoe thing there? That contains that glows so you know which setting you're on. There is low, medium and high heat settings. When I first started using this on my first treatment, I used the low heat setting because I was scared. Then by treatment 2 to 3, I worked my way up to the highest setting and realised that there was no problem. So from session 2, I was using the highest setting. When you're using it correctly, this bar here, this glows green. Now, one thing just to let you know about, because I thought mine was broken, but I realised it was user error. When you've put on your conductive gel, you want to work this in small circular motions or backwards and forwards, up and down, and you want to do it slowly. Because if you go too fast and one or more of these prongs is not touching your skin, the heat goes off, because it all needs to be conducting at the same time. So what you might notice is that bar at the top starts flickering green. That's because the device is struggling to connect to the skin to get that heat through. So I would always say go really slowly, make sure all 4 prongs are on the skin at any one time. Enjoy it. It's a relaxing treatment to do. I'm actually very addicted to it now because I see the results and I'm loving the results, and I can't wait to see even better results. After 5 minutes, that light will go amber, like an ambery yellow colour. Then you move on to the next area. So how long did it take me to see results? And by the way, it comes with a plug. You do need to be plugged in, but the cable is long, which I love because I've used such devices before, and they give you a really short cable and you have to sit right against a wall or something to use it, but that cable's a decent length, so all good. And it also comes with a nice little cloth dust bag that you can keep it stored in. So I was using this tool and I got to the 3rd session and I got a bit worried because frankly I saw no results whatsoever. Like nothing, not a thing. And I looked online for other people that had used this device and I couldn't really see many reviews on it. I found one and I didn't really feel like the results were particularly dramatic. So I got to like the 3rd session and I thought, maybe it's not going to do anything, or this is as good as it's going to get, etc. Then, this is when I took those before-after. So the before picture I took before I started using it. The after picture I took on session 4. So halfway through. They say that to see results, you need to use it minimum 8 sessions. Well, I got to session 4. I'm sat there using this on my jawline, on my cheeks. I'm like just doing my thing, on my neck, just underneath, of which you need to avoid your thyroid area, just to make you aware, but you can go in on this area just under here. Session 4, I looked in the mirror after I'd used it to wipe off the gel, and I thought, am I imagining this, or have my jowls, like my jawline, looked very snatched? I thought, no, that can't be the case, because before using this, I wasn't seeing any results whatsoever, and now suddenly they've gone. So I get out my phone and I'm taking pictures and I'm trying to recreate that pose I took in the one where my jowls are looking really bad. And I'm looking down and I'm like taking pictures and they're not showing. I thought I was elated. I was so excited. I was buzzing because that initial before picture shocked me at how bad they were. And it made me feel very uncomfortable and very, like, I noticed it. And suddenly they'd gone. It was like I'd had a facelift. It was really, really dramatic. And I went and showed David the before and after pictures. I sent them to my friend Phil. I sent them to my family. I sent them to a couple of girlfriends. David started using this after. He's been using it since. He's on session 3 at the moment, so he's 3 weeks in. My friend Phil in particular, so I have people in my family going, what is this? Where can I buy it? How does it work? Phil in particular was just like, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but he said to me, what is this device? How does it work? How can I get one? He was just, like, everyone I showed couldn't believe it. They have given me a coupon code to share. It is not a commission paying coupon code, so if you were to use it, I don't profit. This device is $385 US, which is £299, but of course you get the discount, so it's going to be less than that. Now, before I briefly talk about why my skin is so red and what I'm doing about it and how I'm getting rid of it, I want to talk about some of the skincare I've been using, because without doubt this is the reason for the results. But skincare really, I feel, has supported the results. So first of all, neck. There is a particular method I've been using for my neck since 2018. I use 2 items together. On your neck, there are no oil glands. I remember reading this. There are no oil glands. So you can end up with crepiness and loose skin as a result of gravity, lack of moisture in the area because you have no oil glands there, and aging, you know, neck bands, etc. I don't have any of that. And even the guy that I go to for my Botox remarked, he said, what are you doing to your neck? Because you don't have like neck bands or anything. And I swear it's these 2 things together. So I use Squalane. I actually gave him a lecture on this. I was like, do you know you don't have any sweat, like oil glands on your neck? I use Squalane. And the Squalane I use is the one that's derived from olives. This is from Ellipsis Labs, and I get this on Amazon, so that's the place to go and check it out there. It's not expensive, it's about £7. I buy like normally about 3 of these every few months, and I have backups in my drawer, and that's really good. And I mix it with this. This is the neck and décolletage serum from Qualarex Beauty, and it's quite nice. Like, it's got a little lid. Take the lid off. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to waste it, but you press this down once and it gives you a little pea-sized amount, which is all you need. And I mix these 2 things together. Then what I do is I take it all the way down my neck, focusing on this bit here and just through here. And I also run it all the way down my décolletage, and I don't have any crepiness, any lines, and I probably should do, but I don't. Then I'm also using, and may I just say, this brand called Qualarex, I talk about them a lot, is pretty much the only brand I use. I don't use any of these expensive brands, I use Qualarex. And Qualarex is actually a subscriber-owned brand. Christina is the owner of this brand. She is lovely, but she makes all her own stuff, and it works. This is the eye serum that I use from her, and it is like, it is a serum, but it's got an oiliness to it. I just want to make you aware of that. But I have oily skin, and I don't find this a problem. I use this morning and evening after I've cleansed. No lines. That is like Botox in a bottle. If you only buy 1 product from her and you have problems around your eyes, dryness, crepiness, fine lines, that's the thing I would recommend. And you need the tiniest bit. And then I use 3 other products from her as well, which are game changers. I stopped using retinol a little while ago. It was drying out my skin, and I felt like it was making my skin look aged, probably because it was drying it out. But I felt that I needed something to help with the oiliness and to help with exfoliation. So I moved on to AHA, BHA, again, and even niacinamide. And again, my problem I felt was that it was drying out my skin and making it look crepey, which I didn't like. So in combating the oiliness, it was giving me the opposite. So instead, I started using these. You get so many in a pot. Like, I've been going with this pot for months and there's still loads left. What you get in it are these little discs. And can you see they're kind of corrugated. They've got a texture to them. That texture is slightly abrasive. But the product that is on these discs is so hydrating but not oily. It makes your skin, when you've cleansed, if you get that tight skin feeling and you're longing to put on your serums and your moisturizers, this gets rid of that tight feeling and it just feels comfortable. But it's also really good for hydration, pH balance and cleansing. Like, it lifts off so much dirt. But I notice with me, I know when I need to exfoliate because my skin feels like it's got grit or sand on it, whereas when I've used that, it goes. And then finally, I use this hydrating mist, of which there is none left. This is brilliant. It's literally just called Hydrating Facial Mist. It smells like white roses. It's pore minimizing, brightening and radiance boosting. Now finally, why was my face red? So I had been using from CurrentBody, the infrared LED mask since 2021. I was actually using their original, which is just over there. It's flat and it wraps around your head. Series 2 came out last year and it's contoured to your face, this one. So the other one was literally just a flat panel that you had to like wrap round and it used to slide off a little bit. It was really good. That's how I got these results using that. So pigmentation, redness, acne, dries all of it out, clears it all up. And I haven't been using this mask for just a bit over a month because I got lazy. And I've been going to bed really late, and by the time I get into bed I can't be bothered to use it, and I need to, and that's why my redness has come back, so I need to sort that out. But both of these tools, these devices, they can be used together. This one generates collagen, this one generates collagen and elastin, and both can be used by any skin type. So it doesn't matter your skin type, your skin texture, your skin tone, anyone can use these. So that's like my review, and I'm really hoping that this has been interesting to you, or if you're suffering with any sort of sagging or any problem areas for you that are becoming a bit of a pest, I'm hoping that this can help. I will say, if you're going to use it, stick with it. You know, for me it took 4 weeks to see a result. For you it could be 8 weeks. It could be 2 months. Like such as for me with the red light mask, they say 2 weeks. For me it took 2 months to see a result, but when I did see the results, they were really, really excellent. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.